and Podge fans, hey, we're in for episode 2, and we've been out. We were last week. We went over the NBA playoffs. Now we're going to introduce a few new topics. And first thing we want to talk about is Lance Armstrong.
Who does not like cycling? I mean, come on.
I love cycling.
Tour de France is what, like a month and a half away, 2 months away?
But this is a big topic because this guy, it's all about the juicing and what's happened in baseball with Barry Bonds and Mark McGwire. Now
it's funny that it always gets linked with football. It's kind of
football,
funny.
baseball or football?
Baseball, yeah. Crap. Yes, baseball. That's what
but it's like
football too.
But it's in everyone's kind of conscious, right? I mean, it's like people are saying, did he juice? Not. He's always been very,
It's not even the juicing about like the performance-enhancing drugs. It's about like the, doping and
Tyler Hamilton,
helping with the oxygen and everything.
He's always fought these rumors. Now Tyler Hamilton came out recently in 60 Minutes and said, look, he did it. He's talking about having other people do it.
Is this guy more or less credible than Jose Canseco?
I think he's more.
Yeah. I don't know. I struggle with this because a couple years ago Floyd Landis came out and said that Lance Armstrong doped, and everybody kind of threw Floyd Landis under the bus, but
no one believed it until all this stuff about baseball, right? Now you had all these guys like Sammy Sosa and and Alex Rodriguez. They've all admitted to it, so you're just waiting for him to admit to it. But I think it's kind of sad. But he's done a lot of good stuff, and the whole cancer thing, the Live Strong bracelets. I think it's it's taken a
plus he was in the dodgeball, and you gotta love that. I mean,
well,
No, I think I don't know where I'd land on this because, I want to believe in Lance Armstrong. But
I do too. I want to believe.
But for somebody to win that many times, it's really hard.
Was 7 times straight.
Yeah, it's just really hard.
We'll see how it goes. He's putting his.
I loved Greg LeMond, but he only won it 3-4 times,
right.
something like
and he's
that.
putting his money on the look. I've never tested positive, but and then they're saying they squashed the test, but. It's kind of sad. We'll see how this comes out. Maybe it's time for him to just come clean, right?
Do you think
maybe it's time for him to come clean and say, "Look, I did it."
You say that about Roger Clemens too, though. It's like, come on, buddy, just cough it up already.
Well, Clemens, went last year to the Red Sox. He was kind of down. He went to Toronto. All of a sudden, boom, he spikes.
I know.
It's anecdotal, right?
It's a similar thing, though. It's like, how long do you want to fight it, or Maybe it's true. Lance, I'm pulling for you.
I hope he didn't. Honestly, I'm hoping he didn't.
So next, big news coming up in the NBA. I know we did some NBA, but Mike Brown going to the Lakers, head coach, former coach of the Cavaliers.
It's a big mistake. Why are the Lakers signing this guy?
Am I supposed to play the devil's advocate here?
Yeah, you are.
It's funny.
You're Mr. Cavalier, Mr. Ohio, Mr. Cleveland.
I love Cleveland, right? Yeah. No, he was a good assistant under Greg Popovich at San Antonio. I think that's kind of where he got his recognition. And then he went and he coached for the Cavaliers. He coached for LeBron, and they had a great.
Why
record.
the Lakers bring him? What is he bringing special to the table?
Who else are the Lakers going to get? Who else wants to deal with that?
Well, the Lakers are the Lakers. The best franchise in NBA history.
My opinion would be they're looking at Mike Brown as a guy who was able to handle or mold LeBron, and they're thinking we need somebody who can handle Kobe, and Kobe's it's another superstar. It's the same thing.
Mold Kobe. He's like the end of his career. Why are you gonna mold Kobe?
Not mold, but handle a big superstar like that.
I think
that's why they brought Phil in, right?
I think based where the Lakers are at right now. Look, I grew up in Southern California. In the early '80s, I was a big Magic, Kareem fan. I think right now where the Lakers are at, nobody wants a job.
Wait, who are you a fan of now? Aren't you a fan of the Knicks? Like, what do you just? I move around the country, so I choose whatever I like.
Can I just finish my point?
I know. I just wanted to bust your balls on that.
Okay, well, great. Thanks, you did. But thanks, Mr. Helper. But honestly, I think no one wants to take the job at this point because they don't have the budding superstar.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you on that. I don't know that they were going to get a much better coach than Mike Brown. Although I don't really think much of Mike Brown. When he was in Cleveland, I kind of thought he was like the worst coach ever. When you saw him, he was great in the regular season. Coached the team in general. But when it was head-to-head matchups and things like that,
he's not a bench coach.
He got killed all the time.
He's not a bench coach. Anyway,
it's fine.
I don't think it's gonna work out. I think
What's next? What's
He
next?
hired for the fired.
What's next? What do we got?
I think we're turning to the NFL. We haven't talked about the NFL in a few weeks.
We have not. I do miss football.
But they canceled the rookie symposium. They talk to the rookies. They say, look, this is how to protect your money. This is how to deal with the media. This is what you want to do. So this looks like the first casualty of the lockout.
But we had a draft. But now they're going to cancel the rookie symposium.
Right. So hey, rookie,
related, right?
Show up to the draft. Look, we want the big ratings. We want the cameras on you. But now we want to help you. Now we're gonna cancel it.
Do you have
not a very good
sense
PR
that
move,
the NFL and the owners just like step in it every time they take a step? It's like there's landmines of dog poo out there, and they just want to step in it every time.
I think they don't care. I think they're going to go forward.
It's just ridiculous.
They think the fans are going to come back.
Personally, I think the symposium is stupid anyway. I don't think that you have
Why is it stupid?
I don't think you have a symposium and you teach a guy, here's how you manage your finances. Hey, don't go out with all these drunk people, get wasted, maybe molest a woman and get in trouble. It's ridiculous to think that they're going to teach that in a couple days or a week. That's a lifestyle. So
I think you're translating how you grew up to all these people. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy to you, but I think you haven't come from where they. I think you can't.
You think you're going to correct that in a few days?
I don't think in a few days, but you're going to raise awareness to people, right?
No, I don't. But
I think you are, right?
And awareness.
I think now they're going to move on.
How successful has it been when still 40% of the players are bankrupt within a year after they're in the league?
Well, 60% are not. Right?
Okay. Well, what was it before that?
I think it was probably higher than that, right?
I think it's probably higher than that because the salaries were lower. I don't think it has anything to do with the symposium.
I think there's nothing wrong. I don't know why you're busting the symposium. Why would you be against providing information to people?
I'm not against it. I just don't think it's like a miracle worker. It's not Mother Teresa.
Well, now you're like in miracles, right? It's like
I'm just saying. I don't think it's a huge.
I think the NFL is making a mistake.
I think they're making a mistake.
I think they're making a mistake.
I'll agree with you. I think they're making a mistake.
You want a gravy train on the draft picks coming in, hugging all the commissioner. Oh, everything's great. And then something for them, you want to cut it off. I think as NFL, it's a bad mistake.
No, I think it's bad for them. Publicity wise, I think it's bad for them. I just don't know if I think much about the rookie symposium to begin with.
But anyway. Next thing we want to talk about, we want to switch to baseball. So this is like kind of this is my home ground here.
Yeah,
But the next thing we want to talk about.
You're the expert,
right? Next thing we want to talk about is interleague play. This has been around for 15 years now, and
I guess it's one of the viable. Kind of stems from Jim Leland, right? Perrysburg, Ohio native Jim Leland. Where I
How does it stem from Jim Leland?
Remember he made a comment in the last couple of weeks about how he thought interleague had kind of played itself out.
I got you now.
Yeah. No, but I just wanted to mention I'm from the same hometown as Jim Leland.
I think it has kind of played itself out.
I think he needs to give me a call. We haven't talked in a while.
Hey Jim, call.
So you're with him. You think it's kind of played out?
I do. I think it was kind of like the shock factor, but I think now we'll just go back to maybe every other year, every third year we'll do it because it
seems kind of silly to me.
Well, I think back in the day when you had baseball, there was a lot of the All-Star game was great, the World Series was great because you always had that NL-AL matchup. And you didn't know how they were going to do. Now it's like it's kind of throwing water on.
Why do you want to deprive AL fans of seeing Albert Pujols? Why do you want to deprive these fans of seeing?
I want to do it in the All-Star game.
That's one game. It's not coming to their town. It's not like, hey, St. Louis comes to see the Baltimore Orioles, and you can go up there and you can see Albert Pujols.
I think it was a lot better when Albert made the World Series and you had the AL against him, and it was magic. It was magic.
You don't get to take your kid there and say, hey, look, there's Albert Pujols, one of the greatest hitters ever.
Get off your wall and take your kid to the World Series.
Okay, not all of us have the opportunity to take our kids to the World Series.
But honestly, it's like.
Yeah, I'd love to go to an All-Star game too. Somebody, if you got money, you want to take me to an All-Star game, give me a call, hit me up on Twitter.
I don't know what the All-Star game is there, but it really makes it. It really makes it special. I think at this point, though.
I I like seeing the Battle of I-71. I like seeing the Battle of the Beltway. I like seeing the Subway Series.
Yes.
I think it's interesting.
Every other year, every third year. Every third year, I agree with you.
Why?
I think
there's 162 games in the stinking season. Why can't they play outside of their league? It's not like I want to see them play I don't want to see the Nationals play the Braves an extra like 20 times.
Why?
Because it's stupid.
Okay, play the Cubs, play the Reds, play the National
Aren't they
League.
playing
What's the problem?
Play the AL. I mean, how many games do you need to play against the same team?
It's over. It's over.
It's just ridiculous. First of all, 162 games is stupid anyway.
Why?
Because
you're the best team is.
Nobody cares.
You like the playoffs, right?
Nobody cares.
Who cares about the regular season? Let's all talk about the playoffs. That's what you're all about. I know what you're talking about. I want to play college football. I want to play college football. How's that different?
That's different. That's a different conversation.
I want the NCAA tournament for basketball because I want to totally renege on the.
That's not what I'm
saying.
162 games is ridiculous.
Anyway,
who cares if you win 80 and 80 or 90 and 70? Who cares?
Next time we'll pick
it doesn't mean anything. 160 games?
Last thing we want to talk about.
160 games. 162
162.
Okay.
160.
Because they had to move from 150 to 162?
157, but okay. Who's counting?
Whoa, that was a big difference.
You made your point. Okay, the last thing we're going to talk about actually is it's a little bit it's a little bit kind of a downer.
I was pretty bummed when I heard
is the
about
whole
this.
like the Macho Man thing. Because
growing
up,
it's hard to switch from being fired up about 162 games.
I'm trying to work with me here. But the whole thing is the Macho Man. I mean, Randy Savage.
Yeah, Randy Savage passed away over the weekend. Heart attack in a car, hit a tree.
That brought back a lot of memories, though.
Yeah.
It's like back in the day, the wrestling, the Hulk Hogan, and the Junkyard Dog, and
I know wrestling's really gone prime time lately, but I really remember waking up like Sunday mornings with my dad, and when I should have been at church watching wrestling. I miss that. You see like a Hulk out there and Macho Man, and you got that elbow, man. That flying elbow was ridiculous.
It was devastating.
You could mess with the
devastating. What are you talking about? But no, it just brought back a lot of memories. I think Macho Man was, he was right in that time, right? The mid '80s, early '80s, late '80s, where wrestling was really huge. I think it's really kind of come down from that because I think that was sort of the renaissance. I think that was the sweet spot of wrestling, right?
I think that was.
You're not gonna tell me you watch wrestling now. I know you don't.
No, but I think a lot of people do. I think it's bigger now than it was in the 80s.
I think it was better in the 80s.
I think it was better than the 80s, yes, but it's bigger now than it was in the 80s.
Bob Backlund. I mean, come on, George Animal Steel.
Yeah,
I mean, come on, it was great. Andre the Giant. I mean, come on.
I love Andre, but what's wrong with the Big Show and some of these other guys? Chris Jericho. I mean,
they're not.
You don't watch the Hardy Boys going on there?
I don't. But then when it was a little bit melancholic.
It was kind of fun in like the early 2000s when you had like TNT and then you had USA and they're the different wrestling. You had the WWE. And
you like the 80s though. You had the good guys and you had the bad guys. Now it's like
they still have good guys and bad guys.
They don't. It's all kind of mixed up. Everyone's sort of this hybrid.
I'm sorry, guys, but he doesn't watch it.
It's all kind of hybrid.
Oh my gosh.
You're kind of good.
They have good guys and they have bad guys. They have heels. If you watch it, you would understand the terminology of heels and faces, which is what they have right now.
I just think then you had back in the day, you had the Four Horsemen. It was on TBS. Tully Blanchard and all these guys, Arn Anderson, the Enforcer. But I mean, that was the day.
I'm sorry that you missed Ric Flair, but
how did I miss Ric Flair? I mean, come on. We're styling and profiling. There's Ric Flair.
There are still good and bad wrestlers.
I think
good and evil.
I think Macho Man was the renaissance of wrestling. I think now it's kind of gotten off course. But anyway, it was kind of sad.
They just have bigger storylines now than they did in the back in the day. That's all it is.
What does that mean?
More belts, bigger storylines.
What does that mean? Bigger storylines. What does that mean?
Well, you don't watch it, so you don't understand it.
What does that mean? What would you explain?
I could get your wife in here and ask her about soap operas, and she'll tell you what a storyline is, and that's what wrestling has evolved into a soap opera for men.
You don't know what good wrestling is. I just determined that.
Okay.
Right. I thought you did, but now I know you don't. But anyway. That was that's it for this week, and I think we had a good discussion.
I'm gonna make him sit down and watch some wrestling.
I'm so mad. I'm sorry. I want to close the show out. I'm so mad about the wrestling thing. I'm sorry. I can't get over that. Because anyway. You insult the wrestling. Anyway, I just can't.
I didn't insult
But
wrestling.
anyway, hey, thanks a lot. Reach out to us on Facebook and Twitter. We really enjoy the feedback, and we'll see you next week.
All right, guys, take it easy.